Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Paranormal News. Today's article comes from dailystar.co.uk and the headline is Dinosaur Remains Likely to be Found on the Moon, Scientists Claim. It was written by Joshua Smith and it was published on January 18th, 2021. The animals which inhabit our planet are likely to have traveled to outer space on the debris caused by the asteroid that wiped them out, and may have even reached Mars. Dinosaurs appear to have beaten humans to the moon by a few million years, and their remains could even be on Mars, experts have said. The animals which inhabited our planet are likely to have traveled to outer space on the debris caused by the asteroid that wiped them out, so they won't have been alive when they made it to Earth's orbit. The incredible claim was made in Peter Braun's The End of the World, Volcanic Apocalypses, Lethal Oceans, and Our Quest to Understand Earth's Past Mass Extinctions. It's a long title. The extract from the book, which reports how scientists are uncovering clues about what caused 5 catastrophes which dragged life on Earth to the very edge of extinction, has recently gone viral, racking up thousands of retweets on Twitter. Over 66 million years ago, an asteroid later called Chicxulub collided with the planet Earth and triggered earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and tsunamis. And in his book, Brannon tells the story of the asteroid which hit the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, all but wiping out all dinosaur life on Earth. In the book, writer Peter Brannon wrote, "A rock larger than Mount Everest hit the planet Earth, traveling 20 times faster than a bullet. This is so fast that it would have traversed the distance from the cruising altitude of a 747 to the ground in 0.3 seconds. The asteroid itself was so large that even at the moment of impact, the top of it might have still towered more than a mile above the cruising altitude of a 747. In its nearly instantaneous descent, it compressed the air below it so violently that it briefly became hotter than the surface of the sun." He also explains that the meteor that hit Earth was traveling at such tremendous speed that as the asteroid collided with the Earth, in the sky above it, where there should have been air, the rock had punched a hole of outer space vacuum in the atmosphere. He added, as the heavens rushed in to close this hole, enormous volumes of Earth were expelled into orbit and beyond, all within a second or two of impact. A previous study has also said that the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs may have catapulted life to Mars and the moons of Jupiter. We find that rock capable of carrying life has likely transferred from both Earth and Mars to all of the terrestrial planets in the solar system and Jupiter, said lead author Rachel Worth of Penn State University, after the study was published in 2013. Any missions to search for life on Titan or the moons of Jupiter will have to consider whether biological material is of independent origin or another branch in Earth's family tree. And that is the end of this article. And that is absolutely interesting. I mean, this is a crazy article if you think about it. Now, one thing that I wonder about this, and I haven't seen the studies. Let me say that first off. But just as a general question about this, they're saying that this asteroid come flying into Earth and that it was traveling way faster than a bullet and that it made the area around it hotter than the surface of the sun, right? Now, I'm not doubting that that's true, okay? That's not where I'm coming at this from. I'm not saying that's BS. They say that's what happened. I'm going to accept them at their word for now for the purpose of this question. So let's say this asteroid comes flying in and it superheats the air all around it to hotter than the surface of the sun. So essentially that would melt and incinerate anything that it touched, right? Because that kind of temperature will melt rock. So there's no way that it's not melting everything around it. So then they want us to believe the idea that you have this asteroid flying down, and it is superheating everything around it to hotter than the surface of the sun. That it literally punched a hole through our atmosphere, which caused the vacuum of space to actually come into our atmosphere for a short amount of time. So what they're saying happened is this asteroid smashes into the ground, and it sends chunks of rock and life that's there, dinosaurs, whatever, flying up in the air from the impact. And that somehow these dinosaurs surfed this rock right on out into space and ended up on the moon and Mars and Jupiter and all that. So here's my question. If it is true that the air around this asteroid was being superheated to hotter than the surface of the sun, why was the rock and the dinosaurs and whatever else got supposedly sucked up into space and could end up on another planet, why wasn't all of those things incinerated? If the heat is that intense, wouldn't it melt the rock? Wouldn't it burn the dinosaur to nothing? I mean, literally, if you take a dinosaur and you throw it in lava, there ain't going to be nothing left of it. It's going to burn it all away. It's all going to be gone. Now, the surface of the sun, that's hotter than lava. So, why isn't the dinosaur destroyed? That's my question. How is it possible that the dinosaur is flung up into the air with all of this rock and everything else, and it's still intact and not completely burnt up and melted? How is that possible? And then you're talking also, when you come into the Earth's atmosphere, you have a tremendous amount of heat in reentry. So what effect do the atmospheres of any of the other places that this went have on whatever is going through it? Now, I understand that, like Mars, for example, does not have an atmosphere like we have. So you're not going to have the reentry as bad going into Mars as you do going into Earth. But they're talking here even about Jupiter and some of the moons there. What kind of atmosphere do they have? And will that cause any kind of trouble? But I can't get past the initial question of why hasn't the dinosaur and the rock and everything else that supposedly got thrown up been liquefied, turned into vapor, because of the extreme heat that was supposedly produced by this asteroid? That's my question. So if anybody knows the answer to that question, feel free to leave it in the comments. I don't think I buy this one, guys. I mean, I'm not saying that the scientists aren't saying that. I'm not saying that that's not a theory that's out there, because it obviously is. It's in the article. But that's the problem I have with it. If it truly made things that hot, there's no way a dinosaur is surfing a rock out into space in that heat. It would be destroyed. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. As always, it is completely and totally up to you to make up your own mind about what you think about it, and I'd love to hear it. As always, thank you guys for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you on the next one. Until I speak to you again, love many, trust few, and do harm to none. God loves you, and so do I. Bye-bye.